Hello everyone and welcome to another 3D Buzz training video. In this video, Zach is going to continue with the production of the AT-AT-like creature model for Unreal Tournament 3.
I'm just already starting.
So
But please, by all means, carry on.
Oh, you go right ahead. It's Friday night and I'm in one of those moods, so you be sassy.
Sassy is it? Great.
So you just model. You just do something. So what are we doing tonight?
Upper leg.
You're still on the leg.
Well, we did the lower leg last time.
It's been like a year now?
Yeah, something like that.
That's what I thought.
Okay.
The upper means we're close to the end of it?
It should be.
Good.
I would imagine.
That's good news.
You wouldn't think so to listen to you, but,
so,
you know.
Well, I'm just, so you're deleting out your temp stuff. I'm having to explain to our audience because you're not really explaining anything.
I don't feel like explaining.
I see that.
If you want to explain, you do it, buddy.
Standard primitives, cylinder.
You do it,
so
buddy.
apparently you're going to do some snapping. And
that's not annoying at all what you're doing right now. I just wanted to make sure we were clear that you
were
were not
nickeling on that.
You were not annoying the living daylight out of me.
Surely you're going to fix the nickeling.
In a minute, in a minute.
That you're going to change the color. You like pink, don't you?
I do. Well, actually, that's lavender,
yeah,
which I like even better. Oh God. Anyways, so yeah.
So how are you gonna do this? What you got planned?
I don't know. I'm just setting myself up for even more jokes at my expense. I'll be with you in a minute.
Yeah, okay. Well, finish the setup.
Let's see here. Let's put on a whole bunch of maybe 36. Is that enough? It's still a little bit of nickeling.
Still a little bit of nickeling.
42.
Oh, you're gonna jump all the way up there.
That looks pretty good.
Yeah.
But you see, now there's some things. Aren't there always? There's some segments we're going to have to pull from this. Let me turn off snapping real quick. So we're going to need some portions of the circle. So I really don't mind lifting this up there. Let's set it all the way up to 50. Because later on, we're going to be doing very much like what we did with the knee, where we're going to grab a few faces and dupe them off.
Okay.
And I was almost worried about the nickeling we got here.
Yeah, I noticed that on the last one.
Almost.
That if it wasn't for the smoothing groups just barely covering your butt.
So to keep that from happening up here...
You're just going to put 1,500,000 faces
Put
in.
86 trillion faces.
Nice. 86 trillion.
86 trillion. Okay.
For those of you that didn't know, I now apparently have a godlike computer. Crafted by God himself.
All right. We're not just setting ourselves up for even more emails. Which is my favorite thing. Okay, I need to grab polygons. And
that would be Logan for those of you that don't.
Exactly. Wow. And the hits just keep on coming, folks. Now, I'm going to extrude this down a little more than that.
Good job.
And let's just go ahead and click OK there. I'm going to planar that out in Y. I don't need to come all the way down to about here. And you might be tempted to do that, like to where this piece ends, because I'm kind of following the image planes.
Okay.
Kind of, but the image plane is rotated. You don't need to do that. Oop, excuse me. We're going to leave this way up here for now. There's a method to the madness, but we'll get to that a little bit later. Let me scale this in a little bit, because the thing does taper just a tad. I had to really look at some of the images.
Did you really? I noticed it tapered right away. Yeah, you can see it right there.
I don't want to talk to you anymore.
And you do.
I'd really like it if you didn't talk to me either.
And you like that too. And it does taper.
You just need to pretty much be quiet.
Even while the blueprints aren't very accurate, they do have the taper in that too.
I don't know what I'm gonna do. I guess I'm just gonna.
You're gonna make a rectangle, is what you're gonna do.
I'm gonna whine
so
for a while.
Keep making that rectangle.
Okay. Let's see here. Let's see. Just the length. Okay. That's about what I'm looking for. I'm going to slide it down just a tad, though. Okay, now, rectangle. Convert this over to an editable spline.
That was a poly.
That was a poly, actually,
yeah,
which is not at all what I'm looking for. I'm also going to press... Well, you can't hit F3, can you? Because then you can't see your image planes. So, editable spline. Thank you very much. Hit the 1 key. Grab your vertices. Set your scale to center of selection. Pull these guys in. Think... something about like that. So a little bit of taper, not overboard. I can always adjust these vertices out here if I need to pull that in a little bit further. So that's looking pretty good. Now, what I'm looking at is... Try to get everybody on the same page as me. I'm building this plate here that's got this semicircle cut out of it.
Okay.
Now, this just looks like a flat surface.
It does.
It does. So I don't see anything really
flip through and look
there.
There's screw holes there, man. I've seen them before.
It's funny. I guess it depends on which model they
It
were shooting
does.
at the time. So it's like the props group had 4 or 5 different AT-ATs, and they were all built in all sorts of different ways. Here's another one where you can kind of make out some screws.
Yeah, we're going for screws.
See, there's a couple of screws. And then, because we were actually talking about this right before the show started about, are there screws there? And I was on the fence. I couldn't remember if there were or there weren't. Here's a very clear shot right from the movie where, they must have spackled them over.
Yeah,
they spackled them over, sanded it down, little Bondo, no big deal.
Because the Empire doesn't use screws.
Oh, no. Screw-free assembly. Okay, so anyways, if we want screws, we need holes in which we can put screws. So I'm going to create a circle.
For anyone who's having a hard time with the fact that we're adding in screws, we can simply spackle over these later.
Exactly. Just like the Empire did, apparently.
Well, they can get away with it.
Then why can't we?
Exactly.
So I've turned off Create New Shape. So I'm actually making this circle as a part of the existing shape.
So that's a pretty large screw.
But it's not too large.
Okay.
That's my final call on that one. Let's grab this guy and move him, or just shift drag him up here. I really need to get this guy out of the way. What's your current stuff? We could just hit F3 for now. We don't really need the image planes particularly. Okay, let's go to Spline and do a couple of things. Set my reference coordinate system to pick. Grab this guy. Go to Transform Coordinate Center. I want to grab both of these splines. Scroll down in my editable spline. What is it? The Modify panel. I knew where I was, really. I didn't forget. And you don't want to mirror the way I want you to? You should. It doesn't want to mirror, huh? It did last time I tried this. I'm probably doing something wrong, but... Oh, wait. Copy and about pivot. Nyert. Always right in front of me. Okay.
It's a pretty funny sound, though.
Yeah, you like that, don't you? Okay, so there we go. Now the screw holes are mirrored, and everybody's happy. A few more things I want to do, though. Let's go back over to create another circle, switch off, start new shape. Grab snap, so hit S, and I want to create that from the center of my little point helper. And now we'll turn off snapping, thank you. And we'll make this just a wee bit bigger than that cylinder. So there we go. Now, go back over here to editable spline, and I want you. Actually, we need to come in here and actually grab the spline itself. We're going to select this spline. Come down here to Boolean, and I want to do the subtraction bit, Boolean, click on the circle, and do a little spline Boolean to chop that out. Okay, everybody still with me?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Do you see what we're doing?
Mm-hmm.
Man, one of these days you're just going to say, no, Zach, keep going because I'm interested. Instead of just
Ask me again.
No, the moment's over. Never again.
No, okay. Zach, I don't see how you could possibly extrude or bevel or
quit it, or I will
to give this a
quit it, or I will tell you to quit it again. All right, boom. Now we hit bevel, and let's see here. Start outline. We don't really need much of height. This is where we got to play with stuff. Let me zoom in here and have a really close look at this because I don't want to bevel the daylight out of this. Let's do maybe 0.25, at least for starters. Let me just see what that looks like, because I can always tweak this later. Okay, that's maybe a bit much. That's a little better. Let's bring on some level 2 action. Oh, look at this. I'm going in the completely wrong direction. So we don't want to do it that way. So what I'm going to do is grab this. We'll pull it over to the other side. We'll just build it in this direction. It's all the same to me. 0.2. There we go. And that's looking okay so far. All right. Now, I got to line some stuff up here in the front or back view. Just one of these views where I'm looking right down the thing, because I want this to be right over the surface of that guy with just a little bit to spare. Maybe something about like that. And we'll adjust the height of level 2 to kind of get us to the same distance on the other side. That's pretty close. Mm-hmm. Now we need level 3, and that's going to have also a height of 0.25, and this time an outline of negative 0.2, clink. And now let's see what we've got. So, groovy. So we got those screw holes like we wanted, and everybody should be mostly happy. All right, now next thing on the list of doom is If we jump back over here to this shape for just a moment, I guess the cool thing about that is we don't have to worry about any further bevels or anything. Now, I probably will be converting this over to an editable poly, because after looking around here, aside from some plate action here on the underside of the leg, which we can kind of make out here, there's like this weird curved plate and a little hole that's dug in for heaven only knows what reason. There's not much going on the inside of the leg.
Right.
So we're going to end up replacing the inside surface, which will require that we convert this whole thing to an editable poly. More on that later. Jump back over to this guy. Switch over to polygons. Give me this poly, and I'm going to inset it just a little bit. That looks pretty good. I think we can go with that. Do the same thing over here. So I'm going to inset. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and try to finish this side of it up because this is actually going to attach to another piece of metal at some point. So there's not much work to be done. I just need to make maybe a little bit of an extrusion. And then this eventually hooks up to the weird elongated oblong plate thing that becomes part of the hip. So we can leave that alone. We're essentially done with that. Now, if we come back over here to our reference, okay, what I want to create is actually fairly visible right here. We've got this circle, and inside this circle we have three little screw holes because you can't just have something that's easy to model. Then it would be easy. So let's jump back over to the side view. Go back over to create and go to splines, create a circle, and we'll start a new shape for this one. Let's hit S for starters so we can start out from this little point, and I'll hit S again to turn that off while I draw this out. And maybe let me go all the way out to here. It doesn't really matter. The cool thing about doing the whole spline thing the way we're doing it is just as an example. Here's just like a quick for instance. If we look at this and we're like, oh, look at all this nickeling on the blue piece, and that's not good. And your art director comes over and starts jumping up and down and things. You can come back over to your editable spline, go ahead and show your end result to make everybody happy. And up here at the top, we've got interpolation, and you could kick up your number of steps. Maybe 24, nice round number, and there you go. Now, no more nickeling. So, that was a quick diversion, just so that everybody's all happy and stuff. Now, where's that spline? I want that spline again. And over here in the front/side view, we need to move that spline so it's on the outside of the leg. Or at least close to it. We can always set it back in a little later. Alright, now let's go ahead and kick up the interpolation here as well. Maybe even set it up to the same level. That'll work. Now, let's do a couple of things. We're going to get... let's convert this over to an editable spline again. We're going to grab this spline. I want to try something. Let's hold down Shift and just drag in a copy. Okay, so there's another spline. Now, if we just really wanted to get fancy, we could go maybe do the same thing again. Oh, it doesn't want to go much further. We got to keep wrapping around the screen to make a little tiny screw hole. That looks pretty good. Now let's get the move tool, and we could put the... Oh, actually, here. Let's do it this way. Let's just drag it straight up to the top. All right, now here's where we get all fancy and stuff. Let's get the rotate tool, switch this over to 0.03. Use center of selection, hit A for angle snapping, and hold down Shift and rotate that guy around. I'd like to see 120 degrees. Excellent. And then another 120 degrees. Boom. And so now that's nicely divided up into thirds.
Very nice.
Okay, so now we can take the whole thing, and you don't know what I'm going to do yet, do you? We're going to put on another bevel. And what, did that retain the same settings as last time? Of course it did, which we can kill off. We don't really need the bevel on level 1. So we could switch off level 3 altogether. We can kill off the outline on that guy. Pull down the height here on level 2. To really, really small. Take our initial height and push that up, because that's going to be our primary height. And it doesn't need to be all that much. I'm looking at the pictures, and it's not like that's a really thick piece. Now, it goes in kind of far, but more on that later. Because when we create this little piece that's inside here, that's actually going to be separate geometry. And we'll talk more about how and why coming up after the break, which there probably won't be one. So I think this is a pretty good thickness, though I don't necessarily have to pull this out of spline mode, so it doesn't matter. I can always edit it later for now. And ooh, scary. Oh, it's because I had no height. You love that sound effect, don't you? 0.1 on that, and negative 0.2 there. So just a little bit of bevel, and I think that's going to do it for now.
Okay.
All right. So now back over here to this guy. If we want to clear out the hole a little bit better, we could switch over to polys. Jump over here for just a minute. I could scale this guy down, because remember that was an inset. Now, for the time being, we could delete this. Excuse me, delete this guy out altogether. I'm just going to leave it right where it is for now. We'll get to that piece. There are other things to accomplish first. I'm going to jump back over to the blue piece we were working on, because we've got some nice screw holes anyway, on the outside, but we don't really need them on the inside.
Okay.
There's a funny thing here, and I would call this like a modeling dilemma, and it'd be really just how true you want to stay to the source art. Mm-hmm. Because in the grand scheme of things, how many people are going to know or care that you have screws on both sides of your leg? So I'm going to pretend like we don't need them and that we're trying to stay as true as we can, at least for this one piece. Mostly because it allows me to play a little more with the shape, which is always fun. So let's convert this over to an editable poly. Here on the inside, let's see, I'm going to hit 4. Oops, I want you to oh, what did I convert? Did I convert something I didn't mean to? No, okay, we're good. Just got me all scared for no reason. All right, so that should now be an editable poly. Thank you. Hit 4. I want this guy, and I kind of want him to die. I want him to go away. And then we're going to take these guys. Woohoo. Great. That's fine, though. Let's switch over to edges and convert that to a ring. I guess I can hit F4, make it a little easier for everybody to see. Hold down Control and switch over to polygons, and then delete those out. Now let's do this to everybody real quick. So 2, grab, and let's do the rest all at the same time. Hold down Control, grab you. Hold down Control, grab you. Ring, Control, polygons, delete. All right, cool so far. Hit 3. I want this border, and I want to cap it. Fantastic. Over here, border, cap. Oh, all too close. You, cap. You, cap. Okay, now polygons. 1, 2, 3, 4. Move tool. I don't know why the move tool's way up. Oh, okay, because we're set up here. It's fine. No problem. So used to holding down the W key and changing that. Now let's slide these up. And not to where they're outside, but we want them to fit right under that bevel if we can. And there we go. That looks pretty good. Now we have nice screw holes.
Okay.
And then back here, we can just go back to 3, grab you, and that should be a nice border here on the outside, and just cap that. So there you go.
Cool.
Now you only have screw holes on the outside, and the inside is all fine. Don't worry about these, because that's all on a planar face anyway, and we've already got the bevel we want, so we don't have to sweat any of that. So we can press F4, and now everybody is happy. Now, there's no point in having screw holes if you don't have a screw to put in them. Yeah, so let's see here. There's a couple of ways we could approach that. One would be to just make extrusions out of what's already here.
Okay.
And we could certainly do that. I'm trying to decide if that's the way I want to go, though. It might be easier to make them out of separate objects. I'm going to assume that it would be, and I'm just going to do it that way out of fun more than anything else. So, left view. So, can you believe there's a petition on 3D Buzz right now?
I saw that.
To do another one of these, or a similar series in Maya?
But I mean, as long as you have an idea of the tools available to you in Maya, you should be able to watch this and translate just fine. There's some other members of 3D Buzz that are doing a fantastic job of converting this all over to Maya.
Do we get to name names? Well, we've already mentioned Frankie V on this anyway.
He's special.
He's special. I did see one that I'm pretty sure is in Maya that looked really good.
That'd be count zeros?
That would be count zeros.
Yeah.
It looks like Maya, because the wireframes he's looking at look like Maya.
He's the Maya man.
He's the Maya man, so... What did I do? I just sent this to the front view for, like, no reason whatsoever. I guess it was just for my own edification. Okay, so that's all looking good so far. Maybe just a little bit more on the height. It really just depends on how far you wanted to push that. Okay, now, let's convert that over to an editable poly. Press F4 real quick, and that's really rounded. But that's okay, I don't mind. We need to get the cut tool. So let's jump inside, grab vertices, grab cut. I'll try to center myself up on this thing. Let's hit Z. There we go. So maybe go from here down to right about there. That hopefully this won't be too thick. Maybe it'll be a little thick, but that's not lining up.
That one's not.
That looks better. I don't think that'll be too thick. I think that's going to work. Anyways, let's now go over to polygons. Get out of the cut tool. Grab you and you. The most awesome screw ever. All right. And we'll lift that out just a little bit. And I'll probably end up sinking this back in just a notch, but that's okay. I love it when I do that. Let's come back down here to extrude. Good gravy. Click OK, and then the tool's done. All right, now I want this guy and this guy. What happens when we loop? What do I get? Nothing. Fantastic. All right, never mind. Let's hit 4 polygons, hold down Control and click Edges, then deselect you and you. If I can't get it one way, I'll get it another. But rest assured, I will get it. And there you go, a little bit of bevel. Click OK, you're done. Move on. Get out of editable sub-object mode. Maybe kick that in just a little bit. I think that's going to work.
I would think so, yeah.
And then you give it a little bit of... Let's go over here to the side view. I know it's the left view, but I'm so used to calling it the side view. Let's do this. Hold on Shift. And just get that kind of positioned. I don't care. Copy, instance. I'll probably just do an instance. And we'll just kind of eyeball that. It doesn't need to be super ultra mega perfect. And maybe give it just a slightly different rotation. Now, let's get you and you. Switch over to 0.3. Use transform coordinate center and mirror and copy. Okay, so it's close. We can edit it to get them right where they need to be. Sweet. All right.
So I go turn them.
Do they need to be turned? Oh, you want random turns on all of them? See, because they're mirrored turns. I didn't mind that so much.
Yeah.
Just tink. Who knows anything about precise construction in the Empire? Let's see. I think we're doing okay so far. So what's next? We've got some... excuse me. We got some interesting stuff that takes place here inside this. It's very much like the piece that we've got... excuse me. Very much like the piece we have in here.
Okay.
All right. Excuse me, folks. I gotta take a quick drink.
Yeah, you drink some water. Is that really water in there? It is Friday night after all.
I wish it wasn't. I really, really do. Okay, so we've got some interesting stuff taking place in here. The way that I would do that is I would grab this little beveled piece here, and I would first off clone it out. And that's fine. Whatever you want to call that's just dandy as far as I'm concerned. And then I would convert this over to an editable poly. Now, let's hit F4 so we can take a look at all of those nice little divisions in there. And that one looks like it's pretty straight up and down, which is good. I'm going to select polygons. Let's go with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, 8 looks like it might do it, because I'm talking about like half the width of this thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think that's going to work. We'll go with it anyway. Now I need the move tool, and so let's see here. Set that back over to that. Hold down Shift, and I'll just drag this down just a little bit, clone it out to another object. And that should be good for starters. Now with that, I should be able to probably just take this guy and send him out. Don't need him anymore. So let's hit 3. Actually, we'd probably just do it with edges. We don't really need to build an inside to this thing. Can I loop? Oh, good. That'll save me at least a couple of seconds worth of work. Probably would have been prudent to have...
I was wondering why you didn't do that.
Well, I thought about it, and then I figured I could just clone, symmetrize. You know, there's about 50 different ways to handle that. Let's do this real quick. All right, you're back in. Okay, well, that's fine. Let's just hit 4. I still got that guy selected, and the trick here is to try to find that bottommost polygon, which looks like these two. So hold on, Control, 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, 6, 6, 7, 7, 8, and 8. All right, that should be everybody. Okie dokie. Now, now this way.
That one slid a little more to the right.
I'd almost have to look like in an orthogonal view because I just can't tell from here. My gut tells me nuh-uh, but let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. And 1, 2, 3, 4. No. And 1, 2, 3, 4. No. And 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay.
Cool.
I don't think so.
Cool. Let's do it.
Hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, this one is off. This one is off. Double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that one was off. I don't think these guys are off. I think these guys are okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, okay. Everybody's fine now. All right. I can't be too careful. All right, now let's hold down Shift and scale these down just a notch. Not much at all. Almost imperceptible. And clone that out to an object, which is fine. Boom. Jump back over here. Delete that whole thing, and that just gives us these, which is great. Okay, so now, what are we doing? Let's see. Let's grab this, get you, and you, loop. Now, will you let me bridge? Yay. Let's just do a bridge this way for this next one. Boom. Oh. Aw. There you go. And it looks like we're going to need to flip normals, which of course is fine. Alright, cool. So let's hit 5, grab the whole element, flip. Now let's grab edges, loop, an edge, and loop. Ooh, what did you just try to do? Please don't ever do it again. And I want this guy and the corner.
Something's wrong on that side.
Something is wrong on that side. It looks like it made a funny little bridge. A really funny little bridge. So that guy needs to go away. I must have clicked the wrong edge when I was trying to bridge. Part of the lovely world of trying to work at this resolution means it's a little hard to click on edges sometimes. Let me try it again from here. Click. That looks good, and that should be good. Now, what did it do? Because that looks strange somehow. Oh, I'm in polygon mode. All right, go back to edges. Deselect everybody, please. Always fun when I do that. There we go. Yay! Okay, I need a cheerleading team. Don't even.
No.
All right, loop and Loop. Now let's get the corners. Alright. And I think we're looking good here, so let's chamfer all of that. Ta-da! And click OK. Now this has got a great big hole cut in it.
Mm-hmm.
And I really wish I'd thought of that a moment ago. I'm sitting there going like, oh, isn't something different? Isn't something supposed to be different? But I'm going to try to work around that for just a moment, because I have an idea. If I had remembered that originally, I'd have built this a little differently. I'd have splined the whole thing.
Okay.
But because I forgot, I'm going to cry like a little girl. And
This should be quite entertaining, actually.
well, I might end up just rebuilding the piece. I'd rather not, but there are certain benefits to doing it that way. Let me slide this guy out of the way for a moment. Sometimes you do that. Sometimes you're working and you do something that is not going to help you. So here, let me... Not you. You go away. I want this thing. Come on, Max. Alright, let's take this guy. That's fine. We're going to toss out your little bevel modifier, though. Now let's switch over to spline mode, and I want that spline to explode, and I want his friends here and here and here to explode. I just want this spline all by its lonesome. Now, over here in the side view, let's hit F3 so we can actually see what's going on. Let's grab all of this stuff, whatever it'll let us select. Are we still in windowed mode? Apparently. I want all of this. Let's hit M and assign our modeling material. And get rid of that. Okay, this is just a way to get an idea of how thick that thing is. Okay? Now, let's grab a rectangle. And say that looks about right for thickness. Don't worry about the fact that it's not really centered.
Yeah.
But something right about there. Now, of course, the centering bit can come now. We can just go center to center in XYZ, and that should take care of that little problem. Okay, so now let's make sure both of these... yeah, jump out of crossing mode before I start screaming, and switch those over to editable splines. Grab either one, doesn't matter which one, and attach the other, so they're now the same object. Jump in and grab splines. Get out of attach mode. Let's grab the circle. I don't think it really matters which one. And we want an intersection. And click Boolean and click whichever the other one happens to be. And there we go.
Cool.
Okay, now that takes care of part of the problem. Now we need to figure out what kind of hole this has. Maybe a slot? You know, like a rounded slot?
Yeah.
It looks like
Capsule.
Yeah, capsuloid shape. And there's a whole bunch of ways to make that. The way that comes most readily to mind would be to come back over here and create a rectangle. And just give the rectangle the overall width of the slot that you're looking for. Maybe something about there. Don't worry about the rounded ends. We'll get to that. Or, wait a minute. Here's an idea.
Mm-hmm.
Hang on. No, it's leaving me. No, it's not going to work that way. Wasn't there a way to make a rounded square? I mean, I thought that was in there someplace. I mean, is it a different kind of line and I just missed it? Corner radius. Always right there in front of me.
Yeah, I won't lean forward and point to everything that often.
You know. It's late on a Friday night, okay?
It's all good.
I don't mind. All right, so...
It's okay, I needed to move around in my chair anyways.
Yeah, nice. Okay, so let's see here. We want to align and click to you, but we don't want to change in one of these axes. There you go. So that looks pretty good. Pull it back a little bit. Let's kind of get a better idea of its overall position. It's really close to the edge.
Yeah, it is pretty close.
So something maybe kind of like that. All right, so this is a much nicer way, I think, to create this shape. So let's grab you, make sure that you're attached and you guys are the same object, because it didn't look like they were. And let's get out of there. Let's jump in and put in a bevel. Ooh, is there a problem, sir? Yep, there would be a problem.
Yeah,
which is okay. Let me just back up. We need to do another alignment. And that worked great.
Yep.
Can't complain on that. And make sure that everybody is attached. So we need to grab you, attach, click this guy, right click, put on the bevel. Now which problem? Whoa. It's kind of interesting. Oh, you know what? I'll bet it is. Yeah. Well, maybe. All right, hang on. Let's just kill that off. And there's no extra outline, so that's not it. So Max just doesn't like that.
I'm just wondering about the actual shape of the capsule itself when you started rounding off the edges. Is there any... Yep, there's crisscrossing because the cornering went too high.
Yeah. I didn't even notice from that.
That'll be $1.50, please.
Oh, you just step back, okay? Step back slowly.
Hey, I was just trying to help Max out here. I got Max's back. I knew you were about to start blaming. There we go.
You just step back with your whole $1.50 stuff.
Hey, man, I was just looking to buy coffee, okay? There's nothing wrong with that.
Where on earth is $1.50 going to get you coffee these days?
There's no gas station up the road.
It's not very good coffee, though.
No, but it's still coffee.
Okay.
There we go.
That seems to be working. And using our previous settings seems to work pretty well, too. So we can't gripe too much about that. So you are rejected. This guy, we can now align to this guy. And XYZ, center to center is fine with me. And there we go. Alright, so let's hit F4, let's press M, select you, drop on the modeling material, bring everything down.
Cool.
Yeah, so a lot of really good stuff is taking place here. Alright, so now what? What's left?
Well, you had,
there's all sorts of things. There's
plates.
Funny little thing that goes inside here.
Well, that's just another one of those little capsules that's extruded or beveled and stuck on there.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. There's going to be a cylinder that fits in there. There's a semi-cylindrical groove that's cut on the inside part of that plate. And you know what? I keep coming back to the thought of that groove. Okay. I get caught up sometimes in the fact that we're modeling this at fairly high resolution, and that what we're doing here could actually qualify as a production model.
Which is good.
Which is good. But we, in the end, it is a game model. That little groove that's in there, we don't necessarily have to model that out.
Yeah, we do.
I'm just saying we don't have to. No, we don't have to. We will, or we can, or we can choose to.
I'm actually going to have you pick on some easy stuff at the moment because I'm going to have to stop you in just a second.
Okay.
Because we've already been going for really close to 40 minutes.
Well,
we have other
but it's been good
things
stuff.
to do.
It's been good stuff.
Understand.
All right. Well, then let me get some of the plate work that's down here.
All right, that sounds good.
Come on.
Exactly.
Come on. Easy stuff. So let's see. How would I do this? Well, I would jump back out to whatever this bevel spline guy out here was, and let's do this. Let's shift drag a copy out here, and I don't care what you call that. It's fine with me. Whatever you call it, we're going to nuke out our bevel modifier for now. And after we... Oh, hang on just a minute. Let's go over to spline mode. Grab you and delete, you, delete, you, delete, you, delete. Granted, we probably could have just made a circle and everything would have been fine, but hey, what fun would that have been? All right, now this actually comes in pretty close to this shape, so it seems like it would be a good idea for me to get out and realign everything. So let's put this guy back over here, and I think that looks good. Now we'll come down here to spline mode. Now we can't see it yet, so just grab it and scale it up. So now you can see it fits inside that exterior plate, which is kind of what we want here. And what I mean by that is that we got this plate that we cut the screw holes in. We need it to fit inside that, and now it does. So that's good. Let's hold down Shift and scale out a second copy of it to get the actual thickness from point A to point B here.
Okay.
And I think that
Looks like you might as well shift out one more, too, getting ready for the next plate.
Yeah, might as well.
Appears to be curved as well.
And then that's cool. We're going to end up detaching that, or
Yeah.
we'll make that into another shape. In fact, let me go ahead and do that before I forget, because I will. Did I see a detach button? I always miss it. Attach, and then I thought detach was close by. Oh, there you go. Because they got to have attach and detach really close to each other. Okay, anyways, so this is all looking good. Let's go create a rectangle. And for now, I'm going to let it be a new shape, just so that I can draw it out. Let's make everything a little clear there for a minute, and I can align it, which will be really good. Tink. That's fine. Slide it down here. Now, is that good for thickness, or is that bad for thickness? That's probably pretty good. As far as the overall width of this piece is concerned, I think that's going to work. Maybe a little wider.
Maybe a little.
And I could just be being really picky there. Okay, so now, let's make sure that these guys are all on the same plane. And it looks like they are, but I've already run into that once now, so I guess you can't be too careful. I wonder...
Oh, boy.
Yeah, you know, whenever that happens, it always gets a little bit scary. There's a whole bunch of ways to do what it is I want to do right now, but then you run into, well, great, what's the nicest way to do it? Let's go ahead and get these guys attached real quick so I can quit thinking about it. Is that the right spline? Yep, had to double check. Let's come in here and grab attach and stick this guy on here. Okay, now there's a couple of ways to do what I want to do. Let me just try this, though, real quick. Let's jump over to splines. And it's all going to be about doing the right booleans for the job. So, let's see. From you, I want to chop out this guy. Okay, yeah, that'll work. So, boolean, I need a subtraction. You lose that. Cool. Now, with that guy still selected, I want to lose that. Oh, wrong one. Yeah, failure. We need to switch over to intersection. Aw. Yeah, but hang on. Things were good there for a minute. Boolean. There we go.
Ding, 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 ding.
That's not obnoxious at all, what you were just doing. I mean, just for the record. Yes, but there's a problem. That worked exactly the way I want it to, but I'm not happy. And here's why. I want this spline right here, and I want to get the move tool out, and I want to shift drag it down here for just a moment, and I want to come all the way down here to the other side of the world to get the detach button.
So you have the piece for the bottom one?
Mm-hmm. Cool. Okay, now back to what I was doing. So now I come back in here to...
Just getting it ready.
You don't need to do that at all. I'm just letting you know.
Ding, 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 ding.
I think what it was is I need to restart the Boolean operation. It, for some reason, didn't like that. So that works, and that looks good. Okay, so great. Let's get out of there for just a moment. We won't even worry about the whole beveling process just yet. Let's get out of subobject mode for that guy. Let's select our outer spline now. Let's go to attach, and let's attach up this guy. Now they're now the same object, which is good. So we'll step down into splines, get out of attach mode. I want this. We're going to slide it back up. Now how far down do we need to go? Just about as far as we're going, strangely enough.
Hang on, pull that image back up.
Yeah, there's another one down here.
It's actually curved. Yeah, it's curved at the end.
I see.
It is, and then there's a little square thing down there.
Yeah, I think it's all in who you talk to.
Just it's a picture. That's the funky model.
That's like the next frame.
Whatever.
It's like the next frame where they switched out the models in between frames because they're really clever like that. This is ILM we're talking about. Before they were probably even ILM. I think they were still just Lucasfilm at the time, but I don't know.
All right, let's call it shadowing. I'll let you have it straight.
You'll let... Oh, that's very kind of you. How gracious.
It's my company.
Oh. Well, pardon me, sir.
It's okay. It's all good.
Okay.
$1.50,
yes.
please.
Moving on. Moving on.
My
Ignoring.
coffee.
Moving on. You know, we had enough coffee cracks before. Way back in the Renaissance Center days.
Yeah.
I'm still sore about that, by the way.
I'm sure you are.
Okay, so and attach. So we'll put these guys on the same thing, and then that way I should be able to put the same bevel on both of them,
Can't wait to drive this thing in UT3.
and we're already kind of done.
Ooh, look at that.
I might sink it in a little bit so it's not quite so protruding.
I don't know. It looked like it was protruding on the image pretty good.
Yeah, but
That's still a good bit.
yeah. So
Has it got some beveling on it?
should. Yeah, it does.
Okay, cool.
Not a ton, but I don't think it needs much. So now, I mean, I think we're at a good stopping point.
All right. So, yeah, it's about 45 minutes.
So, I mean, there's still some things to do. We've got a little hinge piece to put in here, a cylinder to put in here, a groove that we're apparently still going to cut out in here. Probably going to end up
Sink that in a little bit
Yeah, we're
further
probably going to
anyways.
slide this up a little and then make another
second
piece that
one.
goes down there. So all sorts of little things. Then there's a plate that goes on the inside of the leg as well.
So
and
one
then-
more video, the leg will be done.
Yeah, and then we've got the entire lower part of the leg that connects down to the knee.
Just has the cool little square-like pistons. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, with that, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to wrap up this video. We hope you have a wonderful weekend for those of you that are following us as we are releasing these. And, yeah, we'll be back next week. So that's going to wrap up this video. Thanks a lot.
Good night.